Hi there guys, and welcome to the new layout that we have for our dedicated UFC content on the channel and the live streams. What we have for you this weekend, in just a few hours actually, is UFC 258, with the main event being Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. Coming from the last bout, I believe, which was 257, just a massive loss of thought there. We come away with an 80% win ratio from the last card. We did pick Chandler and we did pick Dustin Poirier both to win their respective bouts. The only letdown that we had on the card was Amanda Ribas. Sadly, she took an L. But we're going to move forward. We are on to UFC 258. If you do like the content, please make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, it does help, and share it to your friends. Put a comment down below as well, it does help. Put your comments there and I will interact with you all. Let's start with two of the most funkiest names in the UFC. We've got the Coconut Bombs and the Cuban Missile Crisis. So, I'm going to be honest with you here. I'm going to keep this one quite short. I'm going with Julian Marquez. He's a -177 favourite as of this recording. And I'm going with a TKO points victory just to be safe. Now we'll move on to Ricky Simon versus Brian Kelleher. As I said before, this one's going to be quite an easy pick for me. Ricky Simon by a TKO points. Nothing much to discuss really. He should comfortably win this bout. This one, however, is quite tricky. We've got a returning Kelvin Gastelum coming off 3 losses. The last 3 fights, I believe off the top of my head, were Jack Hermanson, which he lost by a heel hook in the first round. If it was the second, please do correct me. And then I believe he lost 2 split decisions. No, sorry, I don't think they were split decisions. Or maybe they were. I honestly can't remember. I know there were decision losses. It was to Darren Till and Adesanya. Both of which are very awkward fighters in terms of style, matchup, or Kelvin. He hasn't been the same since he did lose to Izzy. But I do believe this is like a resurgence, a resurrection, so to speak, of Kelvin Gastelum. I do believe he will go in there, stamp his foot down pretty much, get himself back into possibly the top 7 with this victory over Ian Heinisch, and I believe he will do so via TKO or a points victory. Now this is where things do get quite spicy. We've got a returning Maycee Barber, who is still ahead on the rankings compared to Alex Grasso, but she's on a tear and it's not to be trifled with. However, I believe you would not return to the octagon unless you were confident. I mean, why would you come back still injured? It makes no sense. She might have a few jitters, might Maycee Barber. This is what we're talking about. Whom we're talking about, should I say. She is an underdog at the minute. She's priced at a +110. And she does finish people. She does have power. And she can finish people. I believe she's got 5 fights on her record, stopped by punches and elbows. So with that being said, just going off records, and I feel she'll have a steady, like a nervous first round, but by the end of the first round she'll feel comfortable on her legs, and the second and third round she will really come back at it. I'm going with the underdog Maycee Barber for a win here via TKO points victory. Now this is the one you've all been waiting for, based on the last picks of Chandler and Poirier, both to win. I've done a lot of research into this. It's taken a very long time to analyse everything. And it comes down, in a nutshell, to 2 things. I'll just run a few things through that I have noted down, so I will refer to this. So Usman is on a 16 fight win streak, which is bloody unfathomable in modern UFC. Modern mixed martial arts, in all honesty. So he took Masvidal on, both of which was short notice. Both people obviously had short notice, but it was a great style matchup for Usman. So it wasn't, do you know what I mean? It wasn't unpredicted that he was going to win. It was very obvious that Usman was going to come away with a win there. And the fight with Colby was a purely stand-up fight because none of them wanted to wrestle. But I don't believe he can do stand-up against Burns. I believe Burns he's got far much more power in his hands. That left hand is a meteorite. And, oh man, I just don't believe he can do stand-up with Burns unless he's going to go, and his plan is to out-volume punch. Pretty much, similar to how Holloway does his fights, because we know Holloway doesn't have KO power, but he has volume punches. That is the only way I can see Usman winning this fight, and it would be via a decision. I don't believe Usman has the abilities to beat Burns within the 5 rounds. I just don't see it happening. From everything I've seen, I just don't see Usman going for that. I feel he will play a very defensive game. If the fight itself does go to the ground, he is going to do everything in his power to either hold him there, not let Burns move, or he's going to do everything in his power to get up. He will not want to be on the mat with Burns. Burns has got world-class jiu-jitsu, and it's not to be messed with. He, in my opinion, has more ways of winning this fight than Usman. But Usman is very good at what he does. He's very good at what he does. Similar to Khabib in that sense, he's just very good at what he does. And he can move from his set, but why move from your skill set if you don't need to because you're that good at it? With that being said, Usman is a -278 favourite and Burns is a +220 underdog at the minute. He is undefeated since moving up to 170. And as I said earlier, I believe he has more ways to win within the 5 rounds. I don't see how this fight will not go to the ground. I feel like Burns has the upper hand in the striking in terms of power, but not in terms of, as we said before, actual volume and ability. I believe Usman's striking technicality is better. However, the outright power and speed lies with Burns, which is very bad for Usman, because if he's going to be technical and everything like that, he will get caught, and that's what Gilbert Burns can do. He can land you with a shot and he can put you down. So I've chatted on for a while, and now it's time to give you my pick, and I believe we will see a new UFC welterweight champion of the world, and it will be Gilbert Burns, and I'm going for submission or points victory. I can see them doing this sort of like stand-up-y thing, and I can see Burns like clipping him, or I can see Usman clipping Burns, and then I can see one or the other going down to finish them off, but the last place you want to be is on the ground with Burns. He is amazing on the ground. Usman has had someone on his back once, and he lost. Granted, it was years ago. But if anyone can get to Usman's back, it's going to be Burns. And there has to be something said between the fact that Usman has left the camp to train for this fight and not stayed with the camp. That to me says Usman needed something else to learn that could beat Burns. Because everyone in that gym knows Usman like the back of their hand. Not that they can beat him, but they know what he's good at and what he's bad at. If Burns loses this fight, I do not see any way in which he could beat Usman, given the fact that he is training in that camp. What I would like to see would Usman going up to 185 and potentially fighting Adesanya. That would be a very nice fight for me. But going back to UFC 258, I'm going with the underdog Gilbert Burns by a submission or points victory. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the content. Do follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and everything else. All the tags are the same, /Dan3HitU, and I will see you at the next UFC pay-per-view, which is UFC 259. Enjoy the pay-per-view tonight, guys. See you soon.